Hey everyone, Life Coach Carissa here. Tell me the truth. What is it that you're not doing that you really want to? Because a voice in your head says you're not capable. We all have it, that internal voice that tries to keep us safe, but ultimately keeps us from pursuing things that would truly light us up. This month, my theme is all about confidence, visibility, and playing bigger. And today we are tackling why we stay small and how to stop playing safe. We're going to explore the inherited fear of standing out and how to build the confidence you need to play bigger. Don't go anywhere because this is something we all need to hear. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. This month, my theme is all about confidence, visibility, and playing bigger. And today's video is titled Why We Stay Small and How to Stop Playing Safe. Because I want you to really think about this, right? Be truthful. What are those sentences in your head that keep you from even getting started with something that you want to do? We all have that internal voice. It's trying to keep us safe, but it often is the very thing that keeps us from pursuing things that would truly let our authentic capabilities shine through. The common feeling that I think is most at play here is self-doubt. It's the self-talk. It sounds like it's rooted in truth and fact, but in reality, it is just words that have been repeated for far too long. These sentences can sound like things like, who do you think you are to be able to do that? You've never done anything like this before. What makes you think you could try something like that? It's going to require too much effort. You always quit on yourself when you try new things like this. Just don't even bother. Anything like that ring a bell with you? I know it did with me, or some variation of it. And we need to ask ourselves first, do I even believe this? Where did this story come from? Because I believe that there can often be this inherited fear of standing out. I've talked about inherited patterns, right? The fear of visibility is no different. Childhood narratives of be seen and not heard or don't show your emotion really can begin to change us. We modify ourselves to fit the situation that we're in. And these subtle, unspoken messages become a coping mechanism, our autopilot behavior. And for me, failure was a very ugly word. As a child, I was exposed to a narrative where I didn't want to ever do anything that stretched me enough that there could be a chance of failure. So I stayed small. I didn't try things. I didn't even allow myself to give it a chance most of the time. These were such strong, limiting beliefs that I would never even get started. And I mostly noticed these things in my educational experiences and my career experiences. Personally, I think sometimes I would have this way of um, excitement and opportunity and impulsiveness to come out in my personal life, but in those areas of like education, career, um, maybe even sports, right? In some cases, I wouldn't let myself become vulnerable, which is very interesting, right? So try to uncover what it is within you that you don't even want to get started on, right? That the fun and joy of even trying something out and seeing how well that you perform is not something that you really want to entertain because of all this noise. I had a very specific memory or have a very specific memory from my childhood that illustrates this because in elementary school, I was pretty good at spelling and I ended up winning the school spelling bee. I don't remember what year, and I was going to be going to the city competition. And despite, being from a very introverted, shy family, I mustered up the courage to go. My father, who never took time off work for anything, came with me. He took me, which really surprised me. And I think I felt such a pressure to perform. Failure was not going to be an option here, right? And that pressure that I applied to myself in my own mind with the sentences and fears of disappointing him, it really overrode any excitement or curiosity about what I was capable of. And when I got there, I became so overwhelmed by all the organized setup in the audience that when I went up for my first word, despite knowing how to spell it, I completely misspelled it so that I could just go sit down as fast as possible. And I remember in the car ride back, I don't believe one word was said. And so in my mind, I had disappointed him. And what that message sent me was, don't put yourself in those vulnerable situations ever again. That one small scenario, a blip in time, it ended up following me throughout the course of my adult life until I began to really face this fear somewhere in my early 40s. So here is where I think this connection to the term imposter syndrome presents itself. I think there is this fear of standing out, and it can be directly linked to this imposter syndrome. We don't want to stand out for fear that we won't perform well. And the core belief that drives this is that we don't have the evidence that we can do it. But you know what? You don't know how to hold a glass of water and drink it initially, right? But you don't question your ability. But it's like, what if I told you to put on a presentation in front of 500 people? You likely don't have the evidence or the belief that you can do this well without experiencing some extreme discomfort and the vulnerability of a potential failure. So the truth is, we don't have confidence in something until we actually do it. And we will never come into it with that overly confident feeling most of the time. But we can cultivate that belief through our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, right? It is available to us. I think there is just the safety in staying small. So, why is staying small so tempting? Well, I think we are really protecting ourselves from feeling uncomfortable emotions. But once we learn that emotions are just vibrations in our body, we can feel any of them without it killing us, right? It's not, but no vibration is ever going to kill us. We can handle any vibration. We can go into a new situation knowing that the worst that can happen is an uncomfortable feeling, and we can handle that. And if we didn't have the fear of the feelings of failure, mistakes, embarrassment, vulnerability, then we could go on and do just about anything without worrying about these things, right? It's about finding that healthy balance between all of these emotions. Now, I want to talk about my aha moment, right? Trying to step into my visibility. And I think my biggest turning point was when I was staying in a career that no longer resonated with me. I actually noticed that I was getting very resentful towards it and those that I even worked with, but the fear of branching out and doing something different just felt completely debilitating to me. And I knew I was meant to help people in a deeper way, but I wouldn't even allow myself the opportunity to look at what that was. I ended up changing some of those sentences in my head from "there's nothing else I can do" to "I bet there's something out there that I could do that would help people." And that created just enough space for me to continue moving forward. And I would ultimately go on to leave a career that I knew for over 35 years and completely rely on myself to start something new with my own coaching practice. And I didn't have any evidence I could do this, right? And then I decided I was going to write a book, and I had no evidence or belief that I could do that. But I knew that the worst thing that could happen would be an uncomfortable feeling. And so there is this process, these practical steps to building confidence. So for someone who wants to start playing bigger, what's the very first concrete thing that you can do to build confidence? I say start small. Pick a minimum baseline action that you can start taking that moves you towards that bigger goal. You want to write a book? Start writing blogs or social media posts that come from your heart. Start journaling daily. These small actions will begin your journey of becoming a writer and building your confidence and finding your voice. And I will tell you that is exactly where I started, right? Number 2 is let yourself dream without judgment. You want to change careers, let's say, but aren't sure what to do. Allow yourself the ability to sit and dream without the judgment. Oh, that won't work. Oh, that won't work. Just start making a list of all the possibilities you can imagine doing. Let yourself dream and visualize yourself in each role. This process alone will let you build your confidence even though you haven't taken the tangible steps yet, right? This is really cool, but your brain doesn't know the difference between visualizing and doing. So you're feeding it these new images and abilities without even doing them all the way through to completion, which is really, really cool. So I want to redefine this playing big. Playing bigger for me has meant truly making an impact in the world and being able to impact the lives of others for good. It has meant coming into knowing and loving myself completely and not being inhibited to let my strengths and weaknesses show. It has meant seeking the peace and contentment that I have always dreamed of, time and money freedom on my own terms. It is not about fame or success for me, playing big, right? And so, the ultimate transformation for a person who wants to stop playing safe, I think what awaits them can be this profound peace and contentment. It's knowing that you are not hiding from anything and are open to the opportunities that come your way. It is living in alignment with your true self and feeling like you are in a state of flow. This doesn't mean I live a life without difficulty and trial. It just means that I know how to comfort and guide myself in the midst of those challenges. And when I am in the flow, I just ride that flow, right? It's an unrelenting freedom, peace, contentment, fulfillment that I have been able to create by letting my authentic self shine through and not worrying about whether that is received by others in a positive or negative light, because you know what? That's all dependent upon where their mindset is, what their experiences are. It has nothing to really do with you. So, because you know it's the best that you are able to give, your best is always enough. This is a beautiful feeling that I want you to know is right around the corner for you if you look inward and look inside and see what the narrative is inside there, those sentences. The secret is in those sentences. All right, everyone. I hope this was the permission slip you needed to stop playing small. If you're ready for more conversations like this, click that subscribe, turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know when a new video drops. And if you are looking to go deeper in a dive into understanding your inherited patterns or these sentences in your brain, my book, Why Am I Like This, is available on Amazon. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.